You are handcuffed to your spouse's dead body in a remote, freezing cold cabin with men who want to kill you at your door. Do you think you could survive? Let's start by removing all the plot armor, then I'm going to go through the movie and point out all the times that she should have died and why you would too. This is Why You Wouldn't Survive Till Death. If you like these kind of videos, please subscribe and leave a like so that I can make more of them. After a weird exchange at Emma's husband's office and an awkward elevator ride with her husband and the man she's cheating on him with, it's time for an even more awkward dinner where they exchange gifts. She gives him Super Bowl tickets, which he leaves as a tip for the waiter, and he gives her a strange necklace. She then goes to the bathroom and has a "how did I get here" moment. After that, her husband asks her to put on a blindfold and get in his car. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm in a marriage that we both clearly want out of, there is no way in hell I'm doing that. So she agrees and gets in the car. After an hour-long blindfolded car ride, they arrive at a house in the middle of nowhere, a perfect place for a murder-suicide. They then go inside and there are rose petals everywhere, so it kind of looks like he's trying to rekindle some romance. But the next morning, she wakes up and is handcuffed to her spouse. Naturally, she is like, what the hell is going on? He then gives her a cold stare and proceeds to blow his brains out all over her. He then sits there in shock, which is pretty reasonable. But unfortunately for her, time isn't on her side. Of course, she doesn't know this yet. After she comes to her senses, she grabs the landline to try and call for help, but sadly, the phone isn't working. Then she tries to shoot the handcuffs off, but discovers that the only bullet that was in the gun Mark used to blow his brains out. So she is forced to drag his lifeless corpse around the house. She has a pretty nasty fall down the stairs. Now, I'm not saying that she would 100% would have died right here, but it is a definite possibility, and she most certainly wouldn't have walked away with no injury whatsoever. I think a broken bone or two is likely, and probably a concussion as well. So having injuries like this and dragging the old ball and chain around, there is no way she would make it out of here alive. After her tumble down the stairs, she discovers that the door has been left open probably most of the night. So not only does she have to deal with dragging around her dead husband, but also potentially freezing to death. She then looks around for her phone, only to discover that Mark threw it in a vase of water, so there is no calling for help. She then frantically begins searching through the kitchen cabinets, looking for something to cut herself free with. But unfortunately for her, Mark got rid of everything in the kitchen. Luckily though, she does find the car keys in the trash can. She then has to drag his dead body through the freezing cold snow and into the car just to discover that Mark siphoned out all the gas. The only thing that would have been better is if he left just enough gas in the car to get her down the driveway so that she would have had to drag him even further. Next, she drags him into the basement, but of course all the tools are gone. It was a waste of time and energy going down there, but I mean, you have to check, right? Tom shows up, having received some messages from Mark posing as Emma. They waste a lot of time talking about what happened, and Tom wants to get their story straight. But after some convincing, he starts to call the police, but then realizes he left his phone in the car. As he's going outside to get it, they see a car pulling up. Tom thinks he can get them to leave, so he goes out to confront them. He tries to pay them so that they just leave, but it doesn't work, and well, they stab Tom and break in. Once they're inside, Bobby starts walking straight towards Emma, but for some reason turns around right before he rounds the corner and finds her, even though there's a trail of blood leading right to her. Jimmy then goes outside to find a trail of blood leading to the boathouse. While Jimmy is walking to the boathouse, Emma is smashing Mark's hand with a boat anchor, which he definitely would have heard. He hears him breaking the doors open and quickly hides under a tarp. Jimmy then sees Mark's body, freaks out, and runs to find his brother. They both come back to see that Emma has cut herself free. They are arguing about leaving while Emma is hiding under the dock they're standing on. It's just pure plot armor that they don't find her here. Also, being murdered by these two is not the only thing she has to worry about. She also has to worry about getting hypothermia and freezing to death. Considering the fact that the door was left open half the night, and most likely that there was no heat on, and now she has to lay down on ice, I would say that she would get hypothermia very soon if she didn't have it already. Point is, there is no shot of her getting out of here alive. Next, she is dragging the gas from the boat over to the car when Jimmy comes outside to get Mark's body so that they can open up the safe. She just drops down into the snow to hide from him, but you can clearly see her blood-stained shirt in the snow. This is another point where they should have found her, but her plot armor blinded Jimmy for a minute. Also, I have to keep pointing this out, hypothermia, just saying. She begins putting gas in the car when Bobby comes into the garage. She does manage to hide from him, but he does slash the tires, not that this would stop anyone from driving out of here in this situation. The next time they almost find her is in the basement. She is trapped between the two of them, but she hits the car alarm before they find her. That was some pretty quick thinking, so props for that. She then strips her dead boyfriend of his shoes and jacket, so at least she's a bit warmer, but that doesn't increase the odds of her surviving very much. Bobby goes into the attic looking for her, and she pops out of her hiding spot and smashes him in the head with a golf club, and he falls through the ceiling. She then waits for Jimmy to come check on him and hits him into her room and breaks the doorknob to lock him in. Her mistake is not continuing to cave in Bobby's skull while he is knocked out. I would have hit him until there was nothing but paste where his head used to be. His brother would probably just freak out, leave, and that would be the end of it. But instead, she just runs out of the house to get in Tom's car. As she is calling the police, Bobby shows up, yanks her out of the car, and knocks her out. This would pretty much be game over. They don't kill her yet because they need the combination to the safe. Bobby starts to torture her when Jimmy suddenly grows a pair and tries to physically stop him. Yeah, right, this ain't happening. He would just sit in the corner and cry while Bobby cuts parts of her off until she gave up the combination. Jimmy gets thrown to the floor and sees the gun Mark shot himself with, grabs it, and points it at Bobby. They agree to leave her alive if she gives them the combination. Then they open the safe, only to find an engraved handsaw that says, "The diamonds you seek lay close to her heart." They figure out the diamonds are in the necklace, and they need to cut her head off to get to them. The brothers start fighting, and Bobby ends up impaling Jimmy on a hook on the wall. Then Bobby and Emma start fighting. Emma does have a knife, so at least she has a weapon, but realistically, even with a knife, he is just too much stronger than her. Also, remember she had to lug her husband's dead body around all day, so along with being nearly frozen to death, she would be extremely exhausted. So the most likely outcome would be him cutting her head off and getting out of there with the diamond-filled necklace. I don't think he would get away with it though. After the police show up and find his brother's body, I'm sure that they would be able to put the pieces together and he would go back to prison, so there's a silver lining, I guess. But anyway, she smacks him over the head with some bolt cutters and handcuffs Bobby to her husband. She makes it out to Mark's car, but Bobby is close behind. She hits him with the car and crashes into the boathouse. He chases her out onto the frozen lake. During their struggle, he stabs the ice, then she stabs him, he falls over, the ice breaks, and they get dragged under. As they are going down, she stabs him in the eye, swims to the surface, and breaks through the ice, so she survives the worst day of her life. This is not how it would play out. Once he caught up to her, he would just stab her, and that would be it. But if they both get dragged under, he is definitely dead, being chained to a body. He ain't swimming up. And since he has a hold of her, neither is she. They would both drown together, but even if she managed to break out of the ice and get out, she would definitely have froze to death. I think no matter how you look at it, she is dead. Anyways, tell me what you guys think. If you guys were put in her shoes, would you have made it out alive? Let me know down below. Also, please hit that subscribe button and leave a like. It would really help out my channel. And thanks for watching.